Hello, class. Dave Donahue here, Savannah, Georgia. Uh, it's a pretty cool little topic to talk about this flight here and how it would pertain to what I feel is a 1,500-hour instrument-rated commercial pilot. You guys have a lot of the same particulars in your flight scenario presentation, so I'm not going to waste time. I get long-winded as this. I'm not going to waste a ton of time going over all those little particulars. What I will, and I'm going to try to move through this methodically, but what I will say that, and I'm going to try to convey my thought process as far as how I interpreted the flight and how me as this pilot would approach accomplishing this little sortie, this little mission here. So I'll try to walk through this from West Virginia to New Jersey. My thought on it was, especially that this was going to be a pre-flight. The success of this trip was going to be a pre-flight. It really originated and finds its the whole thing in its pre-flight. So here I've been awaiting this trip for some time, all summer it says, and I never went through the special training that I needed to get into the Washington, D.C. airspace as far as this shows, which is unlike me because if I anticipated this all summer, I would have seen that. I probably would have done that training because why not, right? And anyways, it's not in the scenario, so let's say I didn't do it. And next to that, I'm also taking an aircraft that, from what I can tell in the past year, I've only got maybe 8 hours of experience in. So, and it's one of the more challenging avionics suites that exist in the airplane, the G1000. So all these things together added up to what my conclusion and my thought processes of how I would handle this trip. I'll give you a quick look from my ForeFlight here, a little snapshot of the route. I am just going easy on myself. You can see there I'm just routing to the south of the TFR. I'm going to be filing VFR. I'm in the G1000. It's totally expected to be VFR weather the whole way. I'm leaving at a good time in the morning. The air should be smooth, even though it's summertime. It's from my flight plan, I'm seeing 332 miles. That's a little bit different than what was given to us in the thing. I think it was a little bit of a typo, but even with the rerouting, I got 332 miles. That's well within range of the DA40. I think last I looked, it was like 900 miles. You know, so I mean, you've got A to B plus the hour left of fuel that I like to have as my personal minimum. I'd be filing probably at even 9,500. Let's just climb up and go, get up in there in that nice cool air. And I've got onboard weather. I'd be able to use that the whole time. But yeah, my thought was the success of this mission really existed in the pre-flight. And what I mean by that is no matter what the flight is, even if it's a little local flight, I'm usually checking out I use NW, I'm a big advocate of NW Craft. So I would have checked all the NOTAMs, departure, en route, and arrival. I would be doing my, obviously my pre-flight weather. I'd be having a great conversation with flight services before this, kind of letting them know my route and my time of departure and just having a good conversation with them. It's amazing how all of the stuff that they tell you is pretty well available on your ForeFlight briefings, but somehow, some way, there's a comfortability factor with me of confirming it with them, and every now and again they even bring something up that even though it's all available to me, maybe I missed. So I still like having that conversation with flight services, and they're just good people to talk to too. I know, side note, the guy who briefs us here in Georgia, his handle is CB, and him and I have often, he is a weather expert, so you can learn a lot from those guys if they're willing to spend the time with you, like CB is with me. Every time I talk to him, I recognize his voice. He sounds like he smokes a pack of Marlboros a day, but great guy. And we've talked, our record right now is about an hour and a half, so no lie there. Anyways, I'd be checking out known delays, doing my weight and balance, checking out all my runway links. I know it says that they're fine, but we also have high DA. So I just like to put a thumb on that and be sure of it. Again, we touched on fuel required and then takeoff and landing performance and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that towers of operation, other areas that I like to check out that I kind of made myself a note. I don't know if you guys will be able to see this so good, but this is like all my pre-flight stuff, and you might be able to screenshot that for anyone who, like me, has found before I had something like this kind of flow list, you know, I find myself kind of piecing together a pre-flight and piecing together, you know, trying to be thorough. And now I can go at that and just run all the way through it and not miss anything. So knowing the freezing levels, knowing the ALSs at arrival, the airport lighting systems, you know, whether or not I'm going to need a survival kit, everything that I've got listed on there, ramp fees, storage, hours of operation, mountain considerations, oxygen, all these things come into play. Even in some cases, depending on the airport you go into, friction reports and such things as that. So all real handy. Sorry, I got off a little sidetrack there, but I think good notes. So anyways, the success of the mission really lies in the pre-flight. I feel like in this, it's I would make sure that I'm very well rested for this flight. I would make sure I'm very well hydrated. And on my flight plan, I put an airport that I don't really intend to stop there, just to the south of the TFR. I put it in there because I'm going to be so well hydrated. I'm kind of planning on that. And that's a long leg right there. So maybe I'm just ready to set it down and stretch my legs too. So I don't have to, but if I wanted to, I could. And that's why I put that in there. Kind of a little en route diversion. And again, as a part of the pre-flight, I would be, knowing that I'm getting up early the next morning, I really like being able to jump into the airplane, things be where they're supposed to be and pretty well go, especially early like that. And so I would be going, taking consideration too that I have marginal experience in this airplane from some time back, over the past year, maybe 8 hours. I would be going the night before or the afternoon before. And the cool thing about the G1000, I can load this flight plan in. I could sit there and refamiliarize myself with the aircraft, just kind of chair fly it. And I feel like that would be an important part of this long cross country, especially taking into consideration that I'm a little bit out of touch potentially because of my job. I'm a little bit out of touch with cross country, what's the word, cross country operations. So I would be sure to maybe sit in the aircraft and just get a warm and fuzzy about it before I would go, load some things up, get fuel. I know I'm going to want full fuel. And that way next morning, I'm just showing up, drinking coffee, firing it up, pressing buttons, getting my clearance, and having a nice, easy out. So I think that would be important. And it's going to help me sleep better that next day, that night before too. That's just my personal opinion on that. So yeah, as far as external pressures go, no external pressures really needed. Nothing I need to apply to myself unfairly. You know, I've been looking forward to the trip, but even if I can't make it this day, it says weather's supposed to deteriorate just a little bit. Hey, even if it deteriorated a little bit, I'm very comfortable flying in marginal VFR. I'm obviously instrument rated. I've got a very capable airplane. The day after, I may still yet be able to get in. So really no pressure. And you know, if it's my family that I plan on going on vacation with, they've been with me along the process of becoming a pilot, and they know full well that I take safety very seriously. There is no outcome that is so important, or there's no product so important that I would jeopardize the flight. So yeah, it's no pressure, I feel like, on me at all there. I'd make sure I do a good pre-flight of the aircraft since it's rented for sure, but that pretty well sums it up before this gets absolutely too long. Yep. I'm just looking at my notes here right quick. I think that that pretty well sums it up. Okay. Well, thank you guys for paying attention. Oh, my references for this, I referenced the FAR AIM for the special use airspace, the Washington D.C., the training I would need, and big time on the risk management handbook. I felt like this was a risk management flight. Me as the pilot making good decisions in an aircraft that I'm marginally comfortable in. The trip, making sure I'm filing in such a way that I don't get task saturated. It's a VFR flight 9,500. I'm avoiding all the places where people want to talk to me too much. I'm not going IFR where I get put into a hold and now I got to figure that out on the G1000, all that. I just want it to be nice, smooth, and easy. I've got the range with the aircraft. I just want to fly around the no fun spots and do a little sightseeing along the way. Too easy. So I'm making life easy on myself. We learn how to make our life easy in the airplane in part due to the risk management handbook. So I owe that a lot of credit. All right. Thank you very much. If you got any questions, put them in the comments. I'll be glad to go from there. Thanks.